3, 2, 1. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you remember the first time we met
Like it was yesterday.
in
Um,
the Starbucks?
in the Starbucks. Yeah.
Why didn't you
I,
have me come to the office?
I don't know. I think maybe I thought it was cool. I was trying to impress you. You were sourced, remember? And
I do remember.
I remember we just had I got lost in our conversation. We were just chatting about recruiting and data. And I remember in particular that what I was trying to recruit you for and successfully did in the end was to build out the entire information security function from the ground up with no time, few resources, uh, customers with very high expectations, and maybe one of the least sexiest companies in the world from a technical branding perspective. And we were chatting a little bit about data. I remember walking out of our conversation and just going, damn, that girl is smart and she's smarter than me. And I've got to have her for this project and on my team. And I get back to the desk and there's an email from you, a follow-up email, thank you and whatever. And you'd offered to send me like some samples of data or data-driven work that you had done. And I remember just thinking like, I don't need that. It was already so sort of like those TikToks. Have you seen those TikToks? It's like, do you want that don't matter. Sign here, baby girl. That's sort of how I felt. Sign here. And somehow you did, and you came in and just crushed it like I knew that you would. And it was just from there, it was just so much fun working together and crushing problems. And God, I'm so excited to be here doing it again.
That's so funny. I left feeling the same way. Like at the time, I was reporting into someone who was newer to leadership, and I'd probably learned as much as I could. Um, and having that conversation with you, I was like, I gotta work for this woman. Like she is incredibly smart. Like she gets it. So it's funny. It's funny. I'm like desperately trying. Here, have some
I was
samples of my
playing it
work.
cool, but I think I probably had to beg on my knees to get the budget to get you, make it look effortless. But
You
yeah.
did. You did. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's funny. That's good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for hopping on a call. I just wanted the opportunity to catch up with you now that we are 1 month in to establishing Strativis. And I also wanted the opportunity to share with my network a little bit more about you for those who haven't had the privilege of working with you. So I was going to hand that over to you in your own words to talk a little bit about your background.
Yeah, happy to be here. Good morning. My gosh, I've been in recruiting for 15 years now, which feels really wild to say out loud. And like many of us, I sort of fell into it. My parents are PhD scientists, and so is my brother now. So I'm the only one in the family who's not a doctor. And I think when I was in my early 20s trying to figure out what I would be when I grew up, I thought maybe I'd go do that. And like some poor folks who think that and just don't have the brain that works that way, I washed out midway through and found myself sort of wandered into an internship with an HR team at Morningstar Investment Management. And it just opened my eyes to the world of business and I fell in love with it. And so I spent a lot of time in finance and in fintech, first doing a lot of recruiting and sourcing, then leading teams. I've had the pleasure of leading some fantastic teams at places like Schwab and Robinhood, and recently Q2, a fintech company out of Austin, and really enjoyed my time doing those things. And as I thought about what my next step would be over the last sort of 6 months, you and I had connected over that time. We've always been connected since working together what feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to come back and do it again in a different capacity. And we've both just evolved so much since that time. And I've just really enjoyed being by your side and tackling some of the crazy, complex problems that are here facing us in the market today.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny you say that. I remember when I first started working with you and you told me the story of your family and the profession that they chose, and you're like, I'm the black sheep. And I was looking at you like, you're the smartest person I've ever worked with in this field. It's crazy that you think that. But yeah, no, it's great. And it's so fun to be working together again because we both have similar philosophies around what good looks like. Um, and we both are very passionate about doing a good job. So it's nice to be on the same team. So okay, we're 1 month in. Let's talk a little bit about your observations of the market from like the candidate and client perspective.
This market is unlike anything I've ever seen. And I think that AI has a lot to do with that. It's hit us just smack in the face. And I love AI. The fact that I will never again have to be clicking away on a keyboard or scribbling in a notebook while I'm having a conversation with somebody
Yeah.
in order to remember it after the fact is phenomenal and just amazing. I think as applied to other concepts and what we do, we're still figuring it out. And
Yeah.
it's creating some challenges for us along the way. One thing that I'm noticing and hearing a lot about from clients is this concept of how do I know who the person is in front of me? Because companies are using AI to generate job descriptions. And on the flip side, candidates are using AI to write their resume and to match their resume to a job description in many cases. And so you're looking at all these profiles that essentially look the same because they've been generated by the AI bots. And so a lot of what I'm hearing is this sort of trepidation around that. And how do I know I've made the right decision? And
Mhm.
I think that's the value that we add right now in a lot of ways is to get through that, to have the depth of conversation and skills assess so
Mhm.
that we can help to build that confidence with our clients sort of side by side and help them make the right choice.
Yeah, I totally agree. And there's so much uncertainty about where AI is the most effective and impactful in the process. And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity with the team at Glassdoor to like really analyze that and think about where we could create those efficiencies without compromising on the experience of the candidate and also not increasing the days to fill because with any new implementation, there's a phase of adoption that can sometimes cause a delay in the process. But we managed to implement three tools along the hiring cycle and that created efficiencies that enable us to scale in volume without having to increase headcount because as you mentioned earlier, headcount's precious right now. And so making those good decisions is really important. And we still kept our days to fill like 45 days or less. Like 45 days was the longest of our like average time to fill, and that was, technology roles. Go to market roles were much quicker. So I understand that it's a lot to navigate when people are under pressure. And so any, opportunity that we get to kind of help people through that, I'm really excited about. Okay, finally, let's wrap it up with what sets us apart from a more traditional consultancy. So I'll kick it over to you to get that started.
I think that's easy. And that's that you and I have been in-house our entire careers. And what that's meant is not only are we building strategies, executing them alongside our clients, but we are there for the results. We have to live with them. We're eating our own cooking. And a lot of consultants just haven't had that opportunity. And it can be easy to work through a set of problems, make quick choices and move on and move away. when you've had to be there for the results and deal with them, I think something gets sort of beaten into you about not making choices because they're easy, but
Mhm.
making choices because they're right. And you anticipate pitfalls, even really small ones, and get a little bit choosier about how you frame your solution, and frame it for the long time term or build it for the long term. And that's the lens I'm bringing to my clients on the search side. I know that's the lens that you bring on the fractional HR side. And
Mhm.
I'm just excited to be here with you as we build this business, and work with more and more clients.
Me too. I feel the same way. I do remember about a year ago now, I had the first inkling that I thought this was a good idea and said, the amount of problems that we're tackling, because as you mentioned earlier, we've always kept in touch and when things have come up for us at our various companies, we've kind of sounded it out with each other. I said if we were smart, we would set up our own consultancy because between the two of us, there's nothing in the talent and HR space that we can't solve. And then here we are. Doing it for companies, which is I just so exciting, and I'm so fulfilled by the work that we do. Like it really means a lot to me, and I know it does to you too, to do a good job for people and to make an impact on an organization when they're in growth stage, when they are making difficult decisions with tight budgets. These decisions have to make an impact, and I love being a part of that for our clients.